Hi, my name is Frank Rooke. I'm the game director on Mad Max here at Gamescom.
What are you guys talking about and showing new when it comes to Mad Max here?
Well, today, or this whole Gamescom, we're trying to show the last bits of what's new that we've added to the game and just the new components of it. I would say the most important thing, though, is just to get this idea of how expansive this world is, just how big it is, and what that means to what the player can do, the options, just the autonomy that the player has, just the opportunities for them just to sink their teeth in and have some fun.
Give us a sense of how big that world is.
Well, you know, we don't have like square footage or square kilometers, but it is a world that when you look across the wasteland and you see mountains off in the distance, you can go to those. There is no part of the world that you can see that you can't go to. And so it's absolutely huge. And everything in between you and that has something to do that you can create yourself or something that we've set up for you to do. So it's filled with all kinds of things.
We've had a successful reboot when it comes to Mad Max on the movie theater side. What impact do you feel that will have for people wanting to go in and actually play as Max?
Well, first off, the expectations are huge because the movie's awesome. You know, there's a lot of like what they expect Mad Max to be like and what the world to feel like, just the overall sort of aesthetic of what the Wasteland is like. So that's a huge pair of shoes for us to follow, but we're up to the task. So I think that's like the most influential thing that has happened to the consumer when it comes to our game.
How do you feel actually working with the creator of Mad Max early on in this project has set the tone and it does feel the same as what people would experience from the movie?
You mean, are you talking about George Miller? Yeah, absolutely. Having a chance to talk with him and being able to digest what his vision is for the Wasteland was absolutely important. We started off with this goal of making the most authentic Mad Max game, and that was the only way for us to do it, was to have discussions with him, get inside of his head, and just understand how he visions this Wasteland to be. So those meetings were critical for us, as not just critical, but inspirational, obviously. So I would say that's probably the most important step that we had in the whole process of making a game.
Was there anything in particular that, direction he sent you in?
It was more about just understanding how the Wasteland, how this universe has evolved. You know, it's a bit different than it was back in the earlier movies. So to understand that, I would say, is the most important thing that he relayed to us. But there's also just this understanding of how desperate this Wasteland is now, how brutal it can be, just how focused and one-minded everybody is about surviving. I would say back, if you look at Road Warrior, it was a bit more bigger. It just felt like the world was a bit bigger, a bit more opportunity, a bit more maybe resources for the player or for the people to use and survive with. But you look at Fury Road, you can see that there's nothing left. And that's a very interesting thing, that's a very interesting concept. And that's something that we tried to tap into.
And obviously the vehicle is a really big part of this entire experience. Can you talk a little about the customization and how that changes the way people experience this game?
Yeah, the customization of the vehicles is quite open-ended. And we didn't want a system that said, hey, buy everything and put it on the car and you'll have the ultimate car. That is not how the system works. In fact, we say, tinker with your car, get an upgraded grille, get some new tires, see how that affects your car. If you don't like it, then you're going to have to dial that thing back a bit. So it's all about tinkering and finding a balance for your car that fits you as a player, as well as the way you want the car to look.